Welcome back, Terrarians. Khaios here. I'm going to be continuing my Halloween special right where we left off. The framework for the haunted house is built, the walls have not been placed yet, and that's pretty much where I'm going to be picking up. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so we'll start our wall segments off by switching to gray and grabbing some rich mahogany fence. And I'm just going to put this on the outer edges of the doorway like that. Just because I don't typically like my doorways to be hanging out further than the wall. So if I were to say use this, it would be hanging out quite a bit further. Not a huge fan of it, so I'm sticking with the fence. Then on the inside of that, I'll just grab some blue slab wall painted gray, just like that. You won't really see that wall through the door. You'll see a little bit of it hanging out on either side. And then I'm going to find the doors, if I grab them. I forget materials occasionally. I work with so many materials, it's pretty easy to forget. So it looks like I do need to cheat in some doors. So we'll do item dungeon door, because I love the dungeon door. I do not need it painted, however. There we go. So now we have our doors in place. And I'm actually going to just touch up something that I remember seeing right here. On these edges, I like to place behind the upper block right here, specifically. I like to place some rich mahogany wall because, as you can see, it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of a fine detail, but it gives this nice little nook right in there that I think works pretty well for blending in rooftop designs. So you'll see that little nook appear there. And I also can do this with a variety of different platforms, but there's just something about this rich mahogany wall that just makes that absolutely perfect for me. So everywhere we have the wall meet with the rooftop, I'll go ahead and just place that like this. It's a really minor detail. Most people probably wouldn't notice if I hadn't just mentioned it like I did, but it's something that I do frequently in my builds and thought I'd point it out. So next we're going to work on wall design. I want the tower to be stone, so I'm going to start there. I'll probably start with blue slab wall for now, but I'm also going to blend some other kinds of walls into it. Just bring this out a little ways. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the point where the two walls will meet yet, but I'll worry about that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and pull out some green stained glass. We'll switch to lime paint. Paint sprayer is on, and I'm just going to make a stained glass window feature here. And that looks alright as is, but I always think it's nice to give windows borders. And you could, if you plan on putting decorations in front of them, you could just give it a different kind of wall for a border. But I'm actually going to pick a, let's do stone slab. A block that we'll use actuators on. So I'll grab stone slab and I'll just go like this. Just like that. We'll hammer it out so it's a little bit smoother. And then we'll just actuate it. Ooh, looks like I forgot to turn off my actuation tool down here earlier. I'll just go ahead and get rid of all of those actuators. There we go. So now we have a pretty nice looking stained glass window here. I'll place some platform beneath it. I think the platform I want might be in my safe. There it is. Gray paint it. There we go. That's a nice spooky looking platform. Kind of looks like it's melting. And that's the blue brick platform from the dungeons. I'm not quite happy with the way that this room is looking right now. I think I might just increase the height of the stone segment just so it stands out a little bit from the room next to it. So I'll just bring that up to here. And then grab the blue slab wall with gray paint. And just replace everything below it that isn't already it. Just like that. Get rid of all this just to make sure that I've got everything. Okay. And just to balance it out, maybe I'll throw in some planked wall down here. Like that. Now, similar to how I roughened up the wood segments, I'm going to be blending probably some green slab wall and green tiled wall in with the blue slab wall that we have here. Just in various spots. Just kind of roughing it up like that. I meant to paint that gray, however. Just like that. Let's see how this one looks there. Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and roughen up the area a little bit. Alright. I'm actually going to revisit this big room once again and get rid of these, the border. I'm thinking that maybe this will look better with drapes as opposed to a border. So when it comes to drapes, I think personally I like to use pumpkin block. I need a little bit more inventory space, so I'm actually going to go over here, remove those three, Let's throw down some gray brick, don't need any paint on it. Like that. Bring that down one, slope it in. Put one more there. Now just grab some gray brick wall. I know I have some in here. There it is. And paint that wall white. And let's just throw this chimney on top. Like that. I think that looks good. There. Custom fireplace. And chimney. Now on to the curtains slash drapes, or whatever you want to call them. Let's see what colors I have available to me on stockpiled right now. Maybe some red. I'm kind of using lime heavily right now, so I'm not sure if I want to add more. So just go back here. We'll switch to the pumpkin. Paint sprayer and actuator on. And we'll just kind of throw down some curtains. Like this. We'll just kind of tweak it around until I think it looks good. So it looks a little more tattered now. Great. Just going to get rid of these actuators. And I'm just going to throw down... Oops! Misclick. Poor wall. I'll throw down some platforms underneath the windows just so they match with the original one. So before I go on and work on interior design, which will be one of the last things I do in this build, I want to go down here and figure out how to do something. I have to do something with these crimson altars. I just can't leave them. What I'm thinking I might do is actually bust out a hole in the stairwell. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it look like some sort of fleshy cave that just has corrupted its way into the haunted house. It's busted its way through these stairs like this. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up a little bit, and what I'm gonna do is replace much of this dirt with sandstone block painted gray. I think it's an amazing looking stone block. The texture is great, the shape is great. It's one of my absolute favorite stone blocks. So I'm just going to speed it up and do that. The one thing that I do want to mention before I speed the video up though is when you're working with sandstone block as a stone, you need to try and keep it under 1,000, because if you add 1,000 of them in the screen, then your background's going to turn into a desert. You're going to get heat waves, you're going to get desert enemies, etc. That's not something I'm after, and probably something you won't be after either. So I'll just go ahead and speed it up now. Now that I have the sandstone in place, normally what I do is work on smoothing out the cave, giving it little stalactites, stalagmites, stuff like that. But what I want to do first is actually work on making this look a little fleshy. So I'm going to place some bone block and some flesh blocks and just kind of make it look like a mess of flesh is creeping its way from these things into the cave and into the house. So I'll just go ahead and speed it up, or speed up the video while I experiment with that and see what I like. Okay, I'm gonna try blending in some of this living leaf wall and see if I can get it to look good. Just like snake it around here and there. Like this maybe. Normally I like to do my wall work in T-Edit because I found that the naturally spawning cave walls look really, really good. And obviously there's no way to obtain naturally spawning walls in Terraria at the moment. So something that I usually do for this video, I wanted to do everything in game. No T-Edit work at all. So we're getting different kinds of walls than what I'd prefer to do. It's okay, it still works. But it would be amazing if we had the ability to obtain naturally spawning walls. It would just make my day. Missed the spot. There it is. Get rid of these. Wish I could break 2 of these. Actually, I only want 1. Don't really feel like progressing the world into hard mode to get it though. So I'm just gonna blend in a bit of the stone walls here with the brick. So I'll just go like this, just a few spots. So we get a little bit of a mixture of the 2 wall types together. And while I'm mixing things, I think I might just scatter the flesh into the haunted house a little bit. Okay. Actually, I want to experiment with something. I have some silly balloon somewhere. Probably in the safe. Everything's in the safe. When I want it, it's in the safe. There it is. I'm gonna grab that deep red paint this time. And what I want to try and do, if I can, is maybe make it look like the walls are oozing blood. So, oh, wrong tile. So I'll just grab this. Let's see. I don't know how well this is going to come out, but it's worth an experiment. I want to switch my hammer so I don't destroy all of my walls the second I start hammering. Okay. So let's just hammer this around and see if I can't get it to look like it's dripping. I don't think that looks terrible. Let's do a little bit more. And actually, I'm going to have some dripping blood too, I think. So I'll go ahead and grab a blood fountain that I packed just for such an occasion. I'll leave it out here, because perhaps I'll do some decorating with it later. Don't want it painted though. Switch it on. And let's grab these magic water droppers. And just coming off the flesh maybe like this. Next I'm going to throw down some decoration. And I think that's pretty much all the decoration that I'm going to do for the build. I'd like to do more. I honestly, I could spend all day, all week working on this build if I really wanted to. I know I'll probably eventually give it a graveyard out here, maybe a dead tree with some hanging cages. I could probably do something a little more sacrificial looking down in the cavern, and I could definitely do a bridge over here. But I think for now, the haunted house aspect looks fairly complete. I'm quite happy with how it currently looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it here for the day. Wanted to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build. I apologize for the long video. I didn't realize how long I'd been building, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a comment, like, and if you'd like to see more from me, subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting another tutorial video this weekend, and until next time, I'll see you all later. Happy building!